The discovery. In a future not too far from now, Earth was a world filled with tension. The skies were dark with the threat of an alien invasion. Governments had declared a state of emergency, and every country was on high alert. Military forces prepared for what seemed like an inevitable battle, but the humans felt a sense of fear and doubt. Many believed they were outmatched and powerless against the advanced technology of the aliens. Amidst this chaos, a team of archaeologists set out on a routine dig in the arid plains of Nevada. They were searching for artifacts from a time long forgotten. Led by Dr. Emma Carter, a passionate and skilled archaeologist, the team hoped to uncover pieces of history. Little did they know that their find would change the fate of humanity. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the desert, Emma and her team stumbled upon an unusual formation. It was a large, rusty structure half buried in the sand. Emma's heart raced with excitement as she examined it closely. "What do you think it is?" asked Jason, one of the younger archaeologists, brushing sand off the surface. Emma squinted at the markings on the metal. "It looks like some kind of military vehicle, but I've never seen anything like it before." The vehicle had strange symbols and was unlike any modern machinery. Intrigued, the team decided to dig it out carefully. With each shovel of sand, their anticipation grew. Finally, after hours of hard work, they uncovered the entire vehicle. It was a tank, but not just any tank. It was ancient, dating back to a time when Earth faced its own threats. The paint was chipped, and the metal was corroded, but it still held a certain majesty. Emma's eyes widened as she stepped back to admire the discovery. "This is incredible. It looks like it has been here for centuries," she exclaimed. As night fell, the team set up camp near the tank. They gathered around a small fire, discussing what they had found. Emma explained the significance of their discovery. "This tank could be a relic from the last great war on Earth. It might contain technology we can barely imagine." The team members listened in awe, their imaginations racing at the possibilities. After a night filled with excitement, the team got to work early the next morning. They carefully examined the tank, trying to decipher its features. With every detail they uncovered, their hopes grew. They discovered a hatch on the top, which appeared to be sealed shut for decades. Emma suggested they should try to open it, hoping to find more clues about its history. Jason volunteered to take the lead. He climbed onto the tank and examined the hatch closely. "It looks like it hasn't been opened in a long time," he said, feeling the rusted surface. He took a deep breath and began to work on the latch. It creaked and groaned, but with a firm pull, the hatch finally gave way. The team held their breath as Jason lifted it open. Inside, they found a dusty interior filled with wires and machinery. Emma peered in, her heart pounding with excitement. "It's still intact," she said. "We might be able to restore it." They all exchanged glances, a mix of disbelief and exhilaration spreading among them. Over the next few weeks, the team worked tirelessly to restore the ancient tank. They called in engineers and mechanics to help. Slowly, it came back to life, piece by piece. The tank, named Titan, began to reveal its secrets. It had advanced features that far exceeded anything the modern military possessed. As they worked, news from the outside world grew increasingly grim. Alien ships had been sighted in orbit, and reports of attacks on major cities flooded the media. The military was struggling to hold the line, and fear spread like wildfire among the population. People were starting to lose hope. But in the dusty facility in Nevada, a flicker of hope emerged. The team, fueled by their discovery, worked day and night to get Titan ready for battle. They discovered that Titan was equipped with energy weapons, advanced targeting systems, and even camouflage technology that allowed it to blend in with its surroundings. One night, while the team took a break from their work, Emma gathered everyone around. "We've come so far," she said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "This tank is not just a piece of history. It's our chance to fight back. If we can get it operational, we might stand a chance against the aliens." The team nodded, their determination growing stronger. They knew that Titan was not just a machine, it was a symbol of their resilience and hope. As they prepared for the challenges ahead, they felt a sense of unity. They were not just a group of archaeologists, they were becoming warriors. With every passing day, they faced the mounting pressure of the outside world. The alien threat loomed closer, but within that ancient tank, a spark of defiance began to grow. The team believed in their mission and in each other. They were ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. As the final touches were made, the team stood back and admired their work. Titan gleamed under the fluorescent lights, a testament to their hard work and determination. They knew they were about to embark on a journey that would change the course of history. In the days that followed, as the first alien ships appeared in the skies above, humanity prepared to unleash its secret weapon. Titan was ready, and with it the hope of a planet that refused to give up. Preparing for battle. The atmosphere inside the facility buzzed with energy as Emma and her team worked tirelessly to prepare Titan for its first mission. The news from the outside world was alarming. Alien ships were now actively engaging Earth's defenses, and cities were falling one by one. Each report heightened their urgency, pushing them to complete Titan before it was too late. Emma gathered her team for a meeting in the makeshift command center set up in the hangar. A large screen displayed maps and intel from military sources, showing the alien forces converging on key locations across the globe. "We don't have much time," she began, her voice steady but filled with urgency. "The aliens are advancing, and we need to be ready to deploy Titan. Our mission is to protect our home and show these invaders that we will not be easily conquered." Jason, who had been instrumental in restoring Titan, stepped forward. "The systems are operational, but we still need to test the weaponry and maneuverability. I suggest we run simulations to prepare for real combat conditions." The team quickly agreed, and they worked in shifts to ensure Titan was ready. Engineers fine-tuned the targeting systems while others tested the energy weapons, which hummed to life with a fierce glow. Every member of the team felt the weight of responsibility. They knew that they were humanity's last hope. As they practiced, Emma noticed a change in her team. They were no longer just archaeologists. They had transformed into soldiers, united by a common cause. Everyone understood that the fate of Earth rested in their hands. With each passing day, their confidence grew alongside their determination. In the evenings, they held briefings to discuss tactics and strategy. They watched footage of alien ships and studied their movements. Emma encouraged her team to brainstorm ideas on how to effectively use Titan in battle. "We need to think like the enemy," she reminded them. "If we understand their tactics, we can find ways to outsmart them." As the team worked on strategies, Emma began to form a plan. They would not just react to the alien attacks. They would take the fight to them. The first step would be to infiltrate an alien outpost rumored to be located in a remote area of the Pacific. This outpost was known to be a command center for the alien fleet. "We'll take Titan," Emma declared during one of their strategy meetings. "If we can disable their command center, it will create chaos in their ranks and give the rest of humanity a fighting chance." The team agreed that it was a risky move, but they understood the importance of seizing the initiative. As they prepared for the mission, they received a visit from a high-ranking military officer, Colonel Hughes. He had heard about their project and wanted to see Titan for himself. The team gathered in the hangar as Emma briefed him on their progress and their mission plans. Colonel Hughes listened intently, his expression serious. "You're doing something remarkable here," he said, looking at Titan. "This tank could turn the tide of battle, but I need to know if it's ready for combat." With a nod from Emma, Jason led the colonel into the tank. They demonstrated the weapon systems, showing how the targeting worked and how quickly Titan could be mobilized. The colonel's eyes widened as he witnessed the power they had harnessed from an ancient relic. "Impressive," he said, a hint of pride in his voice. "If you can pull this off, you might just save the planet. But I urge you to be cautious. The aliens are not to be underestimated. After the colonel left, Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that they had to prove themselves not just to the military, but to all of humanity. They were a ragtag team of archaeologists turned soldiers, and it was time to show the world what they could do. The day before their mission, they held a final meeting to go over every detail. Emma spoke to her team, her voice steady and reassuring. No matter what happens, remember that we are doing this for our planet. We are fighting not just for ourselves, but for everyone who believes in humanity's strength. As the sun rose the next morning, the team suited up in tactical gear, their hearts racing with anticipation. They gathered around Titan, feeling the weight of their mission. The time for preparation was over. The time for action had arrived. The team climbed aboard Titan, and Emma took her place in the command seat. With a deep breath, she powered up the tank. The familiar hum of machinery surrounded them, and the glow of the control panels illuminated their faces. Ready to roll. Jason called out, excitement and nervousness in his voice. Emma nodded, her eyes focused on the path ahead. Let's show them what we're made of. Titan rumbled to life and rolled out of the hangar. As they drove into the sunlight, Emma felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was the moment they had been preparing for, and they were ready to face the unknown. They set off toward the Pacific, hearts pounding with determination. With Titan leading the way, they felt a glimmer of hope for the first time in weeks. Together, they would confront the alien threat head-on, proving that humanity was not so easily defeated. The infiltration. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the ocean as Titan rolled towards the designated target. The alien command outpost nestled on a rocky island in the Pacific. Emma, seated at the controls, felt the anticipation swell among her team. Every bump in the terrain echoed their resolve. They were on a mission that could change the course of humanity. As they approached the island, the air thickened with tension. The alien outpost, visible on the horizon, loomed like a fortress, surrounded by strange machinery and glowing lights. Towering structures twisted towards the sky, and the unmistakable silhouette of alien ships hovered nearby. Emma's heart raced as she reviewed the reconnaissance data displayed on the screens. This is it. We need to be cautious but swift. The team shared determined glances, the weight of the moment settling on their shoulders. They had come too far to turn back now. Emma turned to Jason, who was monitoring the tank systems. Status report. Everything's operational, Jason replied, his voice steady. Weapon systems are primed, and the camouflage is ready to deploy. We can blend in if necessary. Good. Let's get close and assess the situation before we make any moves, Emma said, her voice steady. As Titan drew nearer, they engaged the camouflage systems, allowing the tank to blend with the surrounding environment. The alien forces were unaware of their approach. Emma steered the tank into a nearby thicket of trees, careful to keep out of sight. From this vantage point, they could see the alien soldiers patrolling the perimeter of the command center. Emma's team watched in silence, their hearts pounding as the alien forces moved about, communicating in sharp, strange sounds. They're heavily armed, Jason observed, noting the advanced weaponry in the aliens' hands. We need to find a way to create a distraction before we move in. Emma nodded thoughtfully, her mind racing. We could target their communications first. If we disrupt their lines, it could buy us time to infiltrate. Agreed, Jason replied. We'll work in pairs. One team will disable the communications tower while the other provides cover. After a final review of their plan, Emma's team felt a surge of determination. They were ready to show the aliens that humanity was far from helpless. With their roles assigned, Emma led the team into the dense underbrush, keeping low and silent. The closer they got, the more the alien outpost revealed itself strange technologies and flickering lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. As they approached the communications tower, they encountered a pair of alien guards stationed near the entrance. Emma signaled for silence, and the team held their breath. She glanced at Jason, who nodded, and together they moved in unison. Jason aimed a specialized device at the guards, unleashing a high-frequency sound that incapacitated them before they even knew what hit them. The aliens crumpled to the ground, and Emma quickly signaled to the rest of the team. "Let's go." They rushed to the entrance of the communications tower, scanning for threats. Inside, they found a maze of blinking consoles and alien technology. Emma and Jason began working to disable the systems, focusing on the main console. "Give me a second," Jason said, fingers flying over the alien controls. He quickly deciphered the unfamiliar layout, recalling the briefings they had studied. The lights flickered as he connected their device to the console, sending a surge of energy through the systems. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the outpost. Emma's heart raced. "We need to hurry." They worked in frantic silence, but the alarm only intensified. "Almost done," Jason shouted, sweat beading on his forehead. With a final command, the screen flickered and went dark. The alarm ceased. "Got it. Their communications are down." "Now for the real challenge," Emma replied, gripping her weapon tightly. "We need to regroup with the others and head to the main control center." As they exited the tower, Emma sensed the urgency in the air. They quickly made their way back through the alien landscape, weaving through shadows. But as they approached their rendezvous point, they saw their teammates under heavy fire from alien soldiers. "Stay low," Emma shouted, and they darted behind a cluster of rocks. The sight of her team fighting valiantly ignited her resolve. "We have to help them." The two of them steadied their weapons and exchanged glances. "On 3, Emma said, counting down in her mind. 1, 2, 3. They emerged from their hiding spot, opening fire on the aliens. The blasts of Titan's weaponry lit up the darkness as they joined the fray. The chaotic sounds of battle filled the air, but Emma remained focused. Her team fought fiercely, each member embodying the spirit of humanity. Despite being outnumbered, the team fought with determination. The aliens seemed taken aback by the ferocity of the humans. It was as if they had never expected Earth to fight back with such resolve. Emma spotted a group of aliens moving towards Jason, who was pinned down behind a rocky outcrop. "Cover me," she shouted to the others, sprinting towards him. She reached Jason just in time, firing her weapon and taking out one of the aliens. "We need to move," Emma urged, helping him to his feet. Together, they fought their way back to the group, where they could regroup. Once together, they strategized quickly. "We need to reach the main control center," Jason said, panting. "If we can take that out, we'll disrupt their entire operation." Emma nodded, her heart racing. "Let's push forward." With their spirits high, the team pressed on. They fought through the chaos, navigating the battlefield as a unit. Each alien they took down only fueled their determination further. The atmosphere crackled with energy as they moved closer to their goal. Finally, they reached the entrance to the control center, and Emma's heart swelled with pride. Together, they had fought bravely, and they were on the verge of achieving something monumental. "Let's finish this," Emma shouted, and with a final burst of adrenaline, they stormed into the control center, ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The control center showdown. The control center loomed before them, an imposing structure with pulsating lights and strange symbols glowing ominously. Emma's team stood at the entrance, their hearts pounding as they prepared for the final showdown. This was their moment, the culmination of their efforts and courage. "Remember our plan," Emma whispered, scanning the area for any signs of movement. "We'll split into 2 teams. One team will secure the perimeter while the other takes out the main control systems." Jason nodded, his eyes glinting with determination. "We'll cover each other. Let's move." They took a deep breath and burst into the control center, weapons raised and ready. Inside, the atmosphere was charged with tension. Screens flickered with data, displaying maps of the surrounding area and live feeds of the alien forces. Emma felt a mix of awe and dread as she absorbed the high-tech environment. "Let's make this quick," Emma urged, leading the way deeper into the room. "We don't know how many aliens are inside." As they advanced, they spotted a group of alien technicians, their backs turned to the entrance. Emma signaled for silence and motioned to Jason, who prepared to take them out quietly. With a swift move, they took down the aliens without raising an alarm. The control center remained eerily quiet, but they knew that wouldn't last long. "Let's get to that main console," Emma said, pointing to a massive control panel at the center of the room. It was surrounded by screens displaying tactical data and various alien symbols. "If we can disable their systems, we can disrupt their operations across the entire island." Jason and Emma hurried to the console, while the rest of the team secured the entrance. Emma began analyzing the controls, her mind racing as she tried to comprehend the alien technology. "I need a moment," she muttered, fingers hovering over the strange buttons. "Take your time. We've got your back," Jason reassured her, keeping his weapon trained on the door. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the control center, red lights flashing in rapid succession. Emma's heart sank. "They found us." "Work faster," Jason shouted, determination etched on his face as he prepared for an incoming attack. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, Emma focused intently on the console. The alien symbols began to make sense as she recalled the intel from their briefings. "If I can just reroute their power systems," she muttered, frantically pressing buttons. Meanwhile, alien soldiers rushed in from various entrances, their eyes wide with surprise at the sight of the humans in their control center. The aliens shouted in their harsh, guttural language, signaling for reinforcements. Emma could hear the commotion growing louder outside. "Emma, we're outnumbered," Jason shouted, firing at the approaching aliens. The first wave fell, but more kept coming. "Almost there." Emma gritted her teeth, desperately trying to decipher the alien interface. Sweat trickled down her brow as she felt the pressure mounting. With a final push, she managed to reroute the power systems, causing the screens to flicker wildly. "Got it. The system is destabilizing." The lights dimmed as the alien console began to short-circuit. But just as Emma felt a surge of triumph, an alien commander entered the room, towering over the others. Its eyes blazed with fury as it spotted the humans. "Stop them," it commanded, pointing a long, spindly finger at Emma and Jason. "Fall back," Jason yelled, pulling Emma away from the console as they prepared for the confrontation. The alien commander, flanked by its soldiers, advanced with lethal intent. Emma's heart raced, but she couldn't afford to panic. "We can't let them take control of the console again. We have to hold our ground." As the aliens closed in, Emma's team rallied around her. They formed a protective circle, their weapons raised. The atmosphere crackled with tension, and the room erupted into chaos as blaster fire erupted. Emma aimed her weapon, firing at the commander while Jason covered her. The blaster bolts illuminated the room, each explosion shaking the air around them. The alien soldiers returned fire, and the air was thick with smoke and debris. "Keep moving. Don't let them corner us," Emma shouted, leading the charge towards the alien commander. They ducked and rolled, dodging incoming fire as they moved strategically across the control center. With the alien commander advancing, Jason shouted, "We need to take that one out first. It's coordinating their attack." Emma nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. "On 3. 1, 2, 3. The system's secrets." The control center was now a temporary haven for Emma and her team, the atmosphere charged with excitement and a hint of disbelief. They had fought hard and emerged victorious, but the battle was far from over. Emma stood in front of the main console, fingers poised over the alien interface. It pulsed ominously, reflecting the tension in the room. "Can you get it fully operational?" Jason asked, leaning closer to Emma, his brow furrowed with concern. Emma nodded, taking a deep breath. If I can decipher the system's protocols, we can learn more about the aliens' plans and resources. She hesitated for a moment. This could be our best chance to turn the tide. Just be careful, Jason urged. We don't know if there are more aliens coming. Emma focused on the console, her mind racing as she tried to make sense of the alien technology. She recalled the training she had received back on Earth, the hours spent studying alien systems. It was all coming together now, but the challenge was daunting. Let's see what secrets you hold, Emma muttered, fingers dancing across the controls. As she navigated through layers of data, the screens began to populate with information. Maps, troop movements, and supply lines appeared before her eyes. Look at this, Emma exclaimed, pointing at a glowing map on the screen. It shows their bases all across the region. We can pinpoint their weak spots. Jason leaned in, his eyes widening. This could change everything. We can plan our next attack based on this intel. As Emma continued to analyze the data, a sudden realization struck her. They're gathering forces for a massive offensive. If we don't act quickly, they could overwhelm our defenses. Then we need to send this information back to command, Jason insisted. We have to warn them about the impending attack. Emma nodded, her determination solidifying. I can use the console to send a distress signal, but we need to keep an eye out for any aliens returning to the control center. They could trace us. Agreed, Jason replied, scanning the room. Let's split up again. I'll keep watch while you send the signal. With a sense of urgency, Emma refocused on the console. She worked quickly, her heart racing as she navigated through the alien system. The screens flickered as she sent the data to their command center. Sending the signal now, she said, fingers flying across the controls. Make it fast, Jason urged, watching the door for any signs of incoming threats. We don't have much time. Emma felt the pressure mounting, but she pushed through, determined to complete her task. The progress bar on the screen inched closer to completion, and Emma could feel a rush of adrenaline. This was their chance to turn the tide against the alien forces. Suddenly, the alarms blared again, and the lights flickered ominously. They're here, Jason shouted, bracing himself for the incoming assault. Just a little longer. Emma yelled back, her eyes glued to the screen. The progress bar hit 100%, and the console emitted a triumphant beep. Done. The signal has been sent, Emma exclaimed, relief washing over her. Now we need to get out of here, Jason said, his voice urgent as he raised his weapon, ready to fight. Before they could make their escape, the door burst open, and a squad of alien soldiers stormed in, weapons raised. The air crackled with tension as Emma and Jason quickly took cover behind the console. Fall back. We need to hold them off, Jason shouted, firing at the approaching aliens. Emma followed suit, her heart racing as she fought to stay calm amidst the chaos. The control center erupted into chaos once more. Blaster fire filled the air, and Emma could hear the thuds of alien soldiers falling to the ground. She focused on her aim, her instincts kicking in as she fought alongside Jason. Let's make our way to the exit, Jason called out, ducking behind a console for cover. We can't stay here. Right behind you, Emma shouted, determined to stick together. They maneuvered through the control center, dodging blaster fire as they fought their way to the exit. But as they approached the door, an alien commander stepped into view, blocking their path. Its eyes glinted with malice as it raised its weapon, ready to fire. Get down, Emma shouted, tackling Jason to the ground as the commander unleashed a barrage of energy blasts. The blasts ricocheted off the walls, lighting up the room in a blinding display of power. Emma and Jason rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the onslaught. They quickly regained their footing, weapons at the ready. Focus on the commander, Jason shouted, his voice barely audible over the chaos. We need to take it down. Emma nodded, her resolve strengthening. On 3, she yelled, preparing for their final push. 1, 2, 3. They both aimed at the commander, firing in unison. Blaster bolts streaked through the air, and the commander staggered back, momentarily disoriented. Emma felt a surge of hope as they pressed the attack. With a final shot, the commander fell to the ground, its body lifeless. The remaining alien soldiers hesitated, confusion spreading across their faces. "Now's our chance. Let's move," Emma shouted, leading the way toward the exit. They dashed out of the control center, hearts pounding as they fled into the open air. The sounds of battle echoed behind them, but they were determined to escape and regroup with their allies. As they raced through the alien encampment, Emma couldn't shake the feeling of urgency. They had to warn the others about the impending attack, and time was running out. "Keep moving," Jason urged, glancing back to see if they were being pursued. "We need to reach the rendezvous point." With the data sent and the commander defeated, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were fighting not just for their survival, but for the future of their planet. As they navigated the treacherous terrain, Emma glanced at Jason. "We can do this. We're not alone anymore. Together, we'll fight back," Jason replied, determination shining in his eyes. With that, they forged ahead, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. Their fight was far from over, but with the knowledge they had gained, they were prepared to stand against the alien threat and protect their world. The rallying call. Emma and Jason sprinted across the alien landscape, hearts pounding in unison with their footsteps. The gravity of their recent victory weighed heavily on them, yet it fueled their resolve. The intelligence they had gathered was vital, and they needed to reach their allies before it was too late. "We have to get to the rendezvous point before the aliens regroup," Jason urged, glancing around to ensure they weren't being followed. "They'll send reinforcements after us." Emma nodded, her mind racing with thoughts of what could come next. "If we can get this information to command, we might stand a chance of turning the tide in our favor. But we need to hurry." As they approached a dense thicket, the air grew thick with tension. Emma scanned the area for signs of their team. "We should find cover here," she said, pointing to a small copse of trees. "Let's catch our breath and figure out our next move." Once inside the thicket, they crouched low, listening intently. The sounds of battle echoed in the distance, but the immediate area was eerily quiet. Emma took a moment to collect her thoughts, leaning against a tree trunk. "Do you think anyone else made it out?" Emma asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I hope so," Jason replied, wiping sweat from his brow. "But we have to be ready for anything. If the aliens find us first, we won't have a chance." As they waited, Emma felt a pang of anxiety. What if their comrades had been captured? What if they were the last hope for Earth? The weight of the universe rested on their shoulders. Suddenly, a rustling sound pierced the silence, making them both jump. They quickly trained their weapons on the source of the noise, ready for an ambush. Emma's heart raced as she peered through the underbrush. Out stepped Lieutenant Harris, his uniform disheveled, and a look of relief washing over his face. "Emma, Jason," he exclaimed, raising his hands in a gesture of peace. "You made it." "Lieutenant," Emma shouted, rushing forward to embrace him. "We thought you might not have escaped. I barely got away." "The aliens were relentless," Harris said, glancing around to ensure they were safe. "But we need to move. I brought a few others, and we have a plan." Jason straightened, his curiosity piqued. "What kind of plan?" "We've gathered a small team at the rendezvous point," Harris explained, urgency in his voice. "We're preparing to launch a counteroffensive. With the intel you brought, we can strike at their weak points." Emma felt a surge of hope. "Then we need to get there fast. Every second counts." As they navigated through the thicket, Emma and Jason shared their experiences, detailing the discoveries they made in the control center and the fierce battle that followed. Harris listened intently, nodding along. "You two did an incredible job," Harris said, admiration evident in his voice. "If we can use this information, we might have a fighting chance against the alien forces." After a short trek, they emerged into a clearing where several familiar faces awaited them. A small group of soldiers gathered around a makeshift command table, poring over maps and data displays. "Emma, Jason," one soldier shouted, relief evident in her eyes. "You made it back. We have vital intel," Emma announced, stepping forward. "The aliens are planning a massive offensive. We need to act quickly." The soldiers leaned in closer, their expressions shifting from concern to determination as Emma and Jason shared their findings. Maps were unfolded, and strategies were discussed, each person's voice adding to the growing plan. "All right," Harris said, taking charge. "If we hit them here, at their supply line, we can cripple their forces before they launch their attack." Everyone nodded, excitement and adrenaline coursing through them. Emma felt the weight of their hope resting on her shoulders, but she was no longer afraid. They were a team, and together they could fight back. "Let's do this," Jason said, his voice filled with confidence. "For Earth. For Earth," the team echoed, their voices ringing through the clearing. As they prepared for the assault, Emma took a moment to gather her thoughts. She had fought for survival and discovered the strength of her comrades. They were no longer just a ragtag group. They were a united force ready to defend their home. "Everyone, listen up," Harris called out, commanding attention. "This is our chance to show the aliens that Earth won't back down. We have the element of surprise on our side. Stick to the plan, and we will emerge victorious." With renewed vigor, the team began to assemble their gear and weapons, each person focused and determined. Emma felt a sense of pride swell within her. They were ready to stand against the alien threat, and she would fight alongside them. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting an orange glow over the landscape, Emma knew the battle ahead would be fierce. But they had a plan, and they were armed with knowledge. This was their moment to show the universe what humanity was capable of. With the call to arms echoing in their hearts, they set off toward their destiny, ready to fight for their world and each other.